Hey guys, Dr. Justin Marcagiani here. Today we're going to be talking about probiotics. Do probiotics help with IBS, Irritable Bowel Syndrome, and do they also help with gut permeability or leaky gut? Awesome. Really excited to dive into today's topic. Please smash the like button. Love to see your comments down below as well. So what is IBS? Irritable Bowel Syndrome. Syndrome just means a constellation of different symptoms. Could be bloating, could be gas, could be reflux, could be constipation, could be diarrhea, could just be general nausea, uncomfortableness in the gut. Typically, it's a diagnosis of exclusion. So they cross off and rule off IBD, irritable bowel disease like Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, or ulcerations and bleeding and autoimmune issues that impact the gut, and then you're left with IBS. And so it's typically just they're coming in there with symptom management. Sometimes they'll recommend certain antibiotics like rifaximin or neomycin, or they'll just maybe generally hit it with other broad spectrum ones like Flagyl. But what is the underlying cause? Because most of the time on the conventional medicine side, it's just spot treating and symptom management. We want to really get to the underlying cause of why that IBS issue is there. So I'm excited to talk about today's issue. Can probiotics help IBS or make it worse? All right. I've seen patients get better and get worse off of probiotics. Again, when you have a lot of imbalances in the gut bacteria, sometimes throwing more beneficial bacteria in there can actually make problems worse. Think about it as gardening 101. If you have a whole bunch of grass growing with a whole bunch of weeds, do you try to solve the weed problem by throwing more seeds down? Probably not, right? Now, I get it's not that simple, and probiotics have lots of other benefits we'll go over today, like reducing inflammation, like motility, gut permeability. So it's nice to look at things holistically, but we got to create some simple analogies so we can wrap our head around the issue. So root causes of IBS: diet plays a role, activity plays a role, gut bacterial imbalance plays a role. Of course, diet like food, processed sugar, grains, inflammatory food all play a role. Again, conventional medicine, they typically just, they'll recommend maybe a general low FODMAP diet, but there's a lot of processed food and even grains and things like that could be on a low FODMAP diet. So you have to look at the nutrient density and just the overall inflammation. You really got to look at inflammation and the nutrient density and make sure the diet's overall pretty healthy. Activity makes a big difference. People that are less active are 3.5 times more likely to have IBS. Now, could it be most inactive people? There's less activity are going to be eating more junk, processed food, maybe playing more video games in their parents' basement. Who knows, right? There could be that thing going on in the background when there's a lot of concurring variables there. Gut bacteria plays a big role. Obviously, diet impacts that. Movement impacts that too, because movement helps with motility and digestion. Gut bacterial issues, so lots of bad bacteria, lots of general dysbiosis that can throw off the immune system. It can throw off gut permeability. It can throw off digestion. So gut bacterial imbalances play a big role. Obviously, stress plays a big role with that, because the more your parasympathetic nervous system is activated, the better digestion, enzymes, acids, better motility, and kind of food breakdown. If our sympathetic nervous system is overactive on the adrenal side, that's going to create more of a fight or flight response, more stress, and less ability to break down our food thoroughly. Now, the gut microbiome plays a major role, right? Probiotics induce beneficial bacteria in the gut, and they have a restoring effect, right? They can help balance out a lot of the microbiome, and they can help mitigate lots of symptoms. I'll pull up a couple of studies on this topic here real quick. Let's pull this up here for you guys so you can see. So you'll go big screen. All right, so nice study right here looking at probiotics. Is it safe to choose? Probiotics is a safe choice to improve overall symptoms for IBS. And they were doing this study with lactobacillus and bifidobacter bacteria. So really good stuff there. Another study here, effectiveness of probiotics in irritable bowel syndrome, updated systemic review. And this one here was a systemic review as well. This is a 2019 article, so pretty recent. This one's a little bit older, I think, 2015. But again, probiotics reduce pain, symptoms, and severity scores. The results demonstrate a beneficial effect for probiotics. Pretty cool. Probiotics have a role of alleviating some symptoms of IBS, a condition which currently evidence of efficacy of drugs and therapies is weak, right? Because the drugs are just pretty much spot treating. So this is a systemic review meta-analysis as well. 2009 one. So we have a 9, 2015, and 19. So pretty cool. And then also different probiotic strains here are effective for IBS. Remains unclear. Rifaximin had modest efficacy. And this was a 2018 study. So, you can find studies on both, right? But we have the gold standard data of these systemic reviews, these meta-analyses, which are going to give us the combination of studies, and you're going to weigh them together, which is really cool. And then also probiotics and zonulin are really cool to look at. Is it meta-analyses looking at 9 studies on probiotics or symbiotics? You could probably put that in the prebiotic category. And the intake of serum zonulin. The results show that probiotics and symbiotics have a significant effect on reducing serum zonulin compared to placebo. So pretty cool stuff there out of the gate. So we keep on kind of moving down my list here. There's some data on this. We have some good kind of systemic analyses, meta-analyses, kind of the highest grade of scientific data supporting some of these things, which is cool. We know probiotics can reduce symptoms of severity. We saw that in some of the studies. Now, why? Well, I would say it does a couple of things. Beneficial bacteria play a really important role in digestion. So there is some digestive elements that get supported with good bacterial levels, so just breaking down food better. There's some reduction in inflammation that also happens, right? There's anti-inflammatory effects that happen with good beneficial bacteria. We talked about the leaky gut phenomenon. Reducing gut permeability plays a big role with the immune system. Remember, 80% of your immune system is in the gut. So if you reduce that immune system stress, that's going to play a major role with calming things down, maybe stealing energy resources from your hormonal systems, because the more your immune system is in overdrive, the greater chance that you are going to be leaking kind of energy, cellular energy, so to speak, because when you're in overdrive from an immune standpoint, you're going to have less resources supporting you. And then if we keep on kind of looking down the slope here, the barrier function, like we talked about, probiotics help with gut barrier. They're going to help reduce inflammation, almost like an ibuprofen or an aspirin without the side effects, the cardiovascular or gut issue side effects. And so that's really cool. So we can reduce inflammation. Now, I've seen clinically with working with patients for almost 15 years, probiotics can be hit or miss. I tend to not just throw them in the beginning of a program working with patients. I try to put them in a systemic protocol, and they tend to be plugged in more at the end because I'm trying to reduce inflammation, get people healthier, get people sleeping better, moving, dealing with stress. We may be modulating cortisol and adrenal function. So all these other kind of impacts to the system, so to speak, play a major role. So if you just come in and try using probiotics like a MD may use a pharmaceutical, you're not really getting to the root cause. So could you use probiotics to help reduce some of the symptoms like some of these meta-analyses said? Yeah, you definitely could. It's definitely safer than using a medication. There definitely is a root cause element to it, but you want to make sure you get all of the other underlying issues addressed, like we mentioned, regarding the food component, regarding digestion, right? If you don't have good hydrochloric acid and enzymes and bile function, you may not be able to break things down adequately. Part of how probiotics help with digestion is they do produce some increased acids. And part of the acidity may make it harder for other bacteria to grow. And it may also help improve digestion, and you're also synthesizing other nutrients, vitamin K, B vitamins, folate, etc. Makes it harder for other bugs to grow. So there's a lot of other good benefits that you get from probiotics on the backside. All right, guys, this is Dr. J here. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, put it in the comments down below. If you need support on the functional medicine side, look at my link and coordinates from my staff and team down below where you can reach out and you can schedule worldwide if you need functional medicine support to get to the root cause of your health issues. Again, Dr. J here signing out. Have an awesome day. Take care. Bye.